My name is Essay, and until that night, I believed my sister had the perfect marriage. My sister had been married to Fred for 7 years. Their home was peaceful. No drama. No loud arguments. Fred was the quiet, responsible type, and my sister adored him deeply. Together they had a beautiful little daughter who was the light of their lives. So during a long holiday, I decided to spend a few weeks with them. They welcomed me warmly, and everything felt comfortable and happy. But sometimes the most peaceful homes hide the darkest surprises. One night around 8:30 p.m., my sister and her daughter had already gone to bed. Fred stayed in the living room watching football match on the television while I was in the guest room. After a while he called out, "Essay, are you still awake?" "Yes," I answered, stepping into the living room. He rubbed his eyes tiredly. "Can you help me warm the food in the kitchen? Your sister is already asleep." There was no electricity in the house at that moment, and I didn't bring my phone with me. So Fred unlocked his phone, switched on the flashlight, and handed it to me. That small moment would later destroy everything. I walked into the dark kitchen with his phone lighting the way. While waiting for the food to warm, I turned on his mobile data and hotspot, so I could use it later in my room. Then suddenly, a notification popped up. Instagram message. Normally I would have ignored it, but the preview message looked very personal. My heart started beating fast. I told myself not to open it, but curiosity won. I tapped the notification. The chat opened, and the moment I started reading the messages, my stomach twisted. The conversation between Fred and the woman was extremely intimate. It looked like something serious had been happening between them for a long time. My mind jumped to only one conclusion. Fred was cheating on my sister. I felt angry, shocked, and protective at the same time. My sister loved this man. They had a child together. And here I was staring at proof of betrayal. So I quietly walked to my room with his phone, picked up my own phone, and recorded every single message on the screen. After recording everything, I returned his phone and served him his food. He smiled and thanked me. He had no idea I had just discovered his secret. But the next morning, I decided to show my sister everything. And that was the moment the real disaster began. The next morning after Fred left for work, I called my sister into my room. "Sit down," I told her quietly. Then I played the video. As she watched the messages, I saw her face slowly change. Shock, pain, disbelief. When the video ended, she asked only one question. "Where did you get this?" I told her everything that happened the previous night. She stood up slowly and walked out of the room without saying a single word. That silence scared me more than anything else. That evening when Fred came back from work, he immediately noticed something was wrong. He kept asking my sister what happened. She said nothing. She only looked at him with cold eyes. Later that night, their voices filled the house. They were fighting. I lay in my room listening to the shouting and crying, realizing that maybe I had just broken their marriage. But things were about to get worse. A few days later, my sister made a decision. A dangerous one. She decided to cheat back. If Fred could betray her, she would do the same. But the person she chose made everything even worse. Her ex-boyfriend. What she didn't know was that revenge often destroys the person seeking it. A few days later, the ex-boyfriend did something cruel. He took pictures of them together and sent them directly to Fred with a message. "She's still mine, you old fool." That evening when Fred returned home, I immediately knew something was wrong. He walked into the house like a man whose world had just collapsed. His eyes were red. He looked at my sister and asked quietly, "What did I do to deserve this?" Then he showed her the pictures. My sister froze. But seconds later she started shouting, "You started cheating first." The house turned into chaos. Both of them screaming, both crying. Then Fred said something that changed everything. "Pack your things and leave my house." But the next morning, both families arrived to settle the matter. And that was when the real truth finally came out. The next morning the house was filled with people. My mother, Fred's parents. Everyone wanted to know what had happened. My sister explained everything. She said she discovered Fred had been cheating on her and that she had proof. Fred looked completely confused. "What are you talking about?" he asked. My sister shouted angrily, "I have evidence." She went to her room and brought her phone. Then she played the video I recorded. The entire room watched silently. When the video finished, Fred stared at the screen for a long moment. Then he said something that made the whole room go silent. "That's my younger brother's conversation." Everyone froze. Fred explained that a few weeks earlier, his younger brother visited and logged into Instagram on Fred's phone because his own phone was damaged after the baby dropped it in water, and he had forgotten to log out. To prove it, Fred opened Instagram and showed everyone the profile. It was his brother's account, not his. The messages were never his. The woman was never his. At that moment, my sister realized the terrible truth. In trying to punish a crime that never happened, she had destroyed her own marriage. Fred looked at everyone quietly. Then he asked them all to leave. Everyone, except his daughter. As we walked out of the house, I felt a heavy weight in my chest, because the truth was painful. If I had never opened that message, maybe their marriage would still be standing, and I would never have to live with the guilt.